Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to NVIDIA's conference call for the first quarter of fiscal 2027. With me today from NVIDIA are Jensen Huang, President and Chief Executive Officer, and Colette Kress, Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer. The content of today's call is NVIDIA's property. During this call, we may make forward-looking statements based on current expectations. These are subject to a number of significant risks and uncertainties, and our actual results may differ materially. For a discussion of factors that could affect our future financial results and business,
Wait, is that me?
Please refer to the disclosure in today's earnings release, our most recent Forms 10-K and 10-Q, and the reports that we may file on Form 8-K with the Securities and Exchange Commission.
God damn it.
All our statements are made as of today, May 20th, 2026, based on information currently available to us. Except
what do we do? Watch on YouTube? I don't think it's on YouTube. This is for legit investors. Okay, I can just tell you guys what's going on, okay? I can tell you. Total revenue of $82 billion. 14th straight quarter of sequential growth. People are live streaming it on YouTube. Bro, why are you linking me fucking stupid tweets? Oh, people are streaming it, bro.
Markets development and our long-term position. Data center revenue of $75 billion was up 92% year over year and 21% sequentially, driven by sustained strength in our Blackwell architecture. And demand for GB300 and NVL72 was particularly strong, with frontier model builders and hyperscalers each having cumulatively deployed hundreds and thousands of Blackwell GPUs, marking the fastest product ramp in our company's history.
Wow, there we go.
Grace Blackwell is the fastest training system as well as the lowest token generation cost at inference. Spectrum X, our end-to-end Ethernet platform purpose-built for AI, is now larger than all Ethernet network peers combined. InfiniBand has also had a very strong quarter, growing more than 4x year over year, driven by deployments of our next generation XDR technology. For your model, data center computing revenue of $60 billion was up 77% year over year, while data center networking revenue of $15 billion nearly tripled year over year. Before we deep dive into data center, we'd like to brief you on our transition to a new reporting framework that better reflects our current and future growth drivers. We have two market platforms, data center and edge computing. Within data center, we will report two submarkets, hyperscale and ACIE, which incorporates AI clouds, industrial, and enterprise. Hyperscale will include revenue from the public cloud and the world's largest consumer internet companies, while ACIE addresses our growth opportunities in diverse AI purpose-built data centers and AI factories across industries and countries. Edge computing highlights devices for agentic and physical AI, including PCs, gaming consoles, workstations, AI RAN base stations, robotic, and automotive. For your reference, we have posted on our website a revenue breakdown based on our new platforms for the past 9 quarters. Moving back to our data center results. Hyperscale revenue of $38 billion was approximately 50% of data center revenue and increased 12% quarter over quarter. ACIE revenue was $37 billion and grew 31% quarter over quarter.
Wow, that's incredible.
Including AI cloud revenue that more than tripled year over year.
Yep.
Our customers have enabled rapid stand-up of AI compute capacity. The number of partner data centers exceeding 10 megawatts has nearly doubled in just 1 year, now surpassing 80 sites. Sovereign revenue increased more than 80% year over year. NVIDIA AI infrastructure is now deployed across nearly 40 countries, representing
That's great, but what about this quarter?
In GDP.
This quarter. We need this quarter.
As evident to our Q1 results, our customer base is diverse and growing. Supported by our vast ecosystem and installed base, breadth of CUDA accelerated application, and the lowest token cost provider, we are well positioned to address a market opportunity that far exceeds that of any other AI computing platform.
It's great, but
demand for AI infrastructure continues to expand at an unprecedented pace. The build-out of AI factories is accelerating. The value of NVIDIA AI infrastructure is rising. The price of renting an H100 has risen 20% year to date, while A100 cloud pricing is up nearly 15%. Benefiting from the versatility of our platform and continuous performance enhancements enhanced by our software stack, customers are generating profitable revenue beyond the depreciable life of their GPUs. The vast and trusted marketplace for Nvidia compute is a critical foundation on which billions in AI infrastructure spending is being financed by the ecosystem. There are two primary drivers behind the accelerating build-out of AI infrastructure. First, from search and advertising to recommender systems and content understanding. The largest hyperscale workloads continue to transition from CPU to GPU-based accelerating computing. Second, the adoption of product and services native to AI is inflecting. Since the advent of ChatGPT, we have witnessed mainstream AI transition from one-shot inference to reasoning and to now agentic. AI is no longer a nice to have. AI is now a necessity for enhancing productivity across all industries and roles. This is propelling revenue acceleration across all layers of the AI cake, including energy, chip, infrastructure, models, and applications.
People are selling chat because basically this
Growth
news
in
we
the
already
model
do.
layer,
You can literally just look it up.
particularly at Anthropic
She's
and
she's
OpenAI,
basically just
has
saying
been
the same shit we already saw in
with
her.
momentum continuing to accelerate, including
This doesn't really mean
breakout
much.
growth in OpenAI's codex since the launch of GPT 5.5. With analysts now
People want to hear
forecasting
Jensen. I promise you when Jensen gets on the
hyperscale
phone, I
capex to
promise you the
exceed
stock's going
$1
to go up a little bit
in
just from his voice being on the phone.
and agentic AI beginning to proliferate all industries, AI infrastructure spending is on track to reach 3 to 4 trillion annually by the end of this decade. Our Blackwell architecture is everywhere, adopted and deployed by every major hyperscaler, every cloud provider, and every major model maker. Last month, we celebrated OpenAI's launch of GPT 5.5, co-designed for, trained with, and served on Blackwell, currently positioned at the top of artificial analysis leaderboards. Microsoft's Fairwater, the world's most powerful AI data center, is now live, ahead of schedule, powered by hundreds of thousands of Blackwell GPUs. Starting this year, AWS will add more than 1 million Blackwell and Rubin GPUs and are collaborating on Spectrum networking.
Oh, wow, yeah.
At Google, Blackwell will be offered to customers in the cloud, including confidential computing capability, a new foundation for secure, high-performance AI.
Nice.
Our share of frontier AI compute is increasing. We have deepened our collaboration with Anthropic and are delighted to be a strategic partner to expand their compute capacity. We'll support the company's growth trajectory through AWS, Azure, CoreWeave, SpaceX AI, and more. Now, with the addition of Anthropic to OpenAI, Gemini, SpaceX XAI, Meta, MSL, Microsoft AI, TML, Reflection, Perplexity, Cursor, and other major frontier labs already building on Nvidia. Our share of frontier A models will grow significantly. Today's data centers are revenue-generating AI factories. Constrained by power and capital, AI factory operators must choose the right architecture. With our extreme co-design approach, we deliver the industry's lowest token cost, the highest token throughput, and the highest ROI. MLPerf inference results are in, and once again, we swept every benchmark.
Do you think this woman's ever owned a graphics card?
Yes, because she owns Nvidia. Across the broad set of models and deployment scenarios. Full stack innovations drove the 2.7x increase in throughput and a 60% reduction in the cost per token on GB300 compared to just months ago. Nvidia Compute is not just the highest performance AI infrastructure, it is the most economic and financeable. Customers do not buy GPUs, they build AI factories. And the right economic metric is not the purchase price of the GPU, it is the lifetime cost of an AI factory producing intelligence, token per watt, tokens per dollar, uptime, utilization, time to production, software durability, and asset life. Nvidia excels at all of them. Agentic AI and reinforcement learning represents new growth opportunities for CPUs. Building on the success of our Grace CPU, Vera is arriving just in time to meet this inflection. Built on custom ARM cores and co-designed end-to-end with Rubin GPUs and NVLink, Vera will deliver up to 1.5x faster performance per core, 2x performance per watt, and 4x density per rack compared to x86-based alternatives. Vera CPU opens a brand new 200 billion TAM for Nvidia, a market we have never addressed before. And every major hyperscale and system maker is partnering with us to get it deployed. We have visibility to nearly 20 billion in total CPU revenue this year. setting us up to become the world leading CPU supplier.
Yes.
Our annual
We
product
already knew that.
cadence, a pace that is unmatched, remains a key pillar supporting our market position. We are on track to commence production shipments of Vera Rubin in the second half of this year, starting in Q3. By integrating 7 purpose-built chips across 5 accelerated racks, Vera Rubin will deliver up to 35x higher inference throughput and up to 10x greater AI factory revenue compared with Blackwell. As an early adopter, Google's A5X bare metal instances, which can support up to 960,000 Rubin GPUs across multiple sites, can enable customers to run their largest AI workloads on Nvidia's optimized infrastructure. While the U.S. government has approved licenses for H200 to be shipped to China-based customers, we have yet to generate any revenue, and we are uncertain whether any imports will be allowed into the country. As a result, consistent with last quarter, we are not including any China data center compute revenue in our outlook. Let me move to edge computing. Okay. Our edge computing market platform generated $0.4 billion, up 10% quarter over quarter and 29% year over year. Robust Blackwell workstation demand was a strong contributor to the growth, while consumer demand fell modestly due to higher memory and system prices. Our physical AI continues to gain momentum, exceeding $9 billion in revenue over the last 12 months. Our partnership with Uber will power the robotaxi fleet across nearly 30 cities and 4 continents by 2028. And in robotics, leading companies across a range of industrial, surgical, and humanoid applications are building on NVIDIA's technology to develop and deploy at scale. We remain front-footed in securing sufficient supply to support our customers' growth. In Q1, we increased total supply, inclusive of inventory, purchase commitments, and prepaids to $145 billion. While we are not immune to supply challenges, we remain confident in our ability to support the growth opportunity ahead. With our intense focus, scale, and long-standing partnerships with critical suppliers continuing to serve us well.
This bitch isn't even real. She's AI, no emotion or voice change.
GAAP gross margin
that's when you know she's good at business.
74.9%, and non-GAAP gross margins was 75%, largely flat sequentially. By Blackwell systems continue to account for most of our shipments. GAAP and non-GAAP operating expenses were up 12% sequentially, primarily due to higher compensation and an increase in compute and infrastructure costs.
You knew that already.
Our non-GAAP effective tax rate of 16% came just below our prior outlook due to favorable geographic mix. And on our balance sheet, day sales outstanding was 45 days due to favorable timing of collections. We expect to return to the mid-50s in Q2. We generated record free cash flow, $49 billion, up from $35 billion in Q4.
That's good. That's good.
I'd now like to update you on our capital allocation plan. First, to reiterate, our intention is to prioritize R&D and strategic investment. Both will enable us to cultivate our ecosystem, drive market growth, and strengthen our market position. As a key enabler of AI, we will make investments necessary to deliver the industry's lowest cost per token and the highest token throughput, which will help our customers and partners scale and expand the AI frontier. Return program is another key component of our capital allocation strategy. Given confidence in our long-term free cash flow outlook and our commitment to sharing our success with shareholders, we are increasing our quarterly dividend from 1
One of the
cent
hookers coming? I mean, one's
to
leaving.
20 cents per share. We plan to review our dividend on a regular basis as we continue to scale our business. We are also announcing an $80 billion share repurchase authorization, which is in addition to the $39 billion remaining on our current plan. As we indicated
huge,
at DTC, we plan to return roughly 50% of free cash flow to shareholders this year. Let me turn to the outlook for the second quarter. Total revenue is expected to be $91 billion, plus or minus 2%. We expect sequential growth to be driven primarily by data center. We are continuing to work vigorously on our supply chain ecosystem to address the incredible demand we see ahead of us, giving us full confidence in the $1 trillion in Blackwell and Rubin revenue we foresee from 2025 through calendar 2027. GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins are expected to be 74.9% and 75% respectively, plus or minus 50 basis points. For the full year, we are still expecting to be in the mid-70s. GAAP and non-GAAP operating expenses are expected to be approximately $8.5 billion and $8.3 billion, respectively. For the full year, we now expect OpEx growth to grow somewhere in the upper 40s on a year-over-year basis, driven by higher R&D and acceleration in the usage of AI tools to enhance productivity. For the full year 2027, we expect GAAP and non-GAAP tax rates to be between 16 and 18%, excluding any discrete items from material changes to our tax environment. This is lower than our prior expectation of 17 to 19 due to changes in geographic mix. That puts me at the end of this part, and I'm going to now turn this over to the Q&A with Toshiya.
Thanks, Colette. We will now transition to
Finally,
Q&A.
dude.
Operator, please pull for questions.
They put fucking white noise on for like an hour.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to remind everyone, in order to ask a question, press R, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We'll pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster.
That's why I put my
As a reminder, please limit yourself to 1 question. Thank you. Your first question comes from Joseph Moore with Morgan Stanley. Your line is open.
Great. Thank you for letting me ask a question. I guess I'd like to ask, what drove the change in segmentation? What's the philosophy behind giving us the numbers that way? And then can you talk about any competitive differences between the two segments and this kind of surprising CPU number that you talked about? How do you see that across the two segments as well? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
Right.
Joe. First of all, Colette meant to say we're increasing our quarterly dividend from 1 cent to 25 cents.
Yeah, that's big.
I think that extra 5 cents would mean a lot to the large shareholders.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
Wow,
let's
you
see.
heard that
Joe,
drama? He was
on the
pissed.
segmentation and the description of the business. We wanted you to understand our business
Jeff, that's
better.
huge.
AI is very diverse, and computing is diverse. They're diverse in several ways. The first thing, of course, is AI includes languages. Depending on the different industries, it could be 3D graphics for manufacturing and industrial robotics. It could be proteins for life sciences. It could be small chemicals for life sciences or material sciences. It could be physics for the physical sciences, whether it's in the energy sector or, of course, the science labs, higher education, so on and so forth. So AI is diverse. The second thing is the applications are diverse. It could be in enterprise. It could be in the energy sector, manufacturing sector, and such. Where it runs is diverse. It could
See,
be
Chat,
in the,
I told you when Jensen's going to
hyperscale
speak,
cloud.
it's going to go up. You see that?
It could be AI natives. These a whole network of AI natives that are cropping up around the world. Enterprises on-prem, industrial in the factories, in the plant, all the way to supercomputing centers and the edge. Edge including, of course, what most people see, self-driving cars, robotics, but a large growing network of computers inside manufacturing plants, whether it's a chip plant or packaging or computer plants, all kinds of different types of manufacturing plants. And then, of course, in the future, every single base station, every single radio network would become an AI-powered radio network. And so where it runs, and then lastly, how it's governed. It could be operated by public cloud, but it could also have industrial regulatory reasons that prevents it from being run in a regulatory cloud. It could be because of confidential computing. It could be because of national security reasons. Different data centers have to be built differently. Nvidia is quite unique in the sense that
Ask him if he can loan us 100K
are the
to
only
go all
company
in.
that builds all of the technology components. We build it in an extreme co-design way, in a complete end-to-end way, in a full stack way. But then we, of course, open the platform so that it could be integrated into all the different environments. But some environments just require, an enterprise, for example, require a company who has all of the technologies working together so that they don't have to build it. They would like to buy it and operate it. And so there's many different segments of the data center market where NVIDIA's total solution, fully integrated solution with full stack, but still open, that
Mods, you
way
changed my
of
title to
doing,
On the Phone with Jensen Huang,
producing
CEO of
delivering
NVIDIA.
products is really, really important. And so if you look at our different segments, the way we broke it out into 3 large segments, you take all of the words that I just said, and you try to find the simplest factoring of it. It would be the hyperscale
I can't understand
Yes,
or
this is the
remember a single
CEO.
thing
That
they've
would
said.
be
I'm too
one large
autistic for this
segment.
shit.
This is
And
the
within that
CEO
segment,
talking, by the way,
there's
Chat.
3 different ways that we operate. First way is that we help the hyperscale clouds accelerate their data processing and machine learning workloads. We accelerate and support their AI processing inside. We also, of course, bring a lot of business, NVIDIA ecosystem business, to their public clouds. And so that's one segment. The second segment is AI natives, enterprise on-prems, industrial on-prem, and sovereign AI. That segment is growing incredibly fast because everybody needs AI, and we're going to see AI being adopted by every industry, every country.
The premises? Okay.
And so everybody wants to build it in a different way. And
the
fact that we provide the entire solution, it makes it much easier.
There we go.
It possible at all for people to be able to build these. And then, of course, the robotic edge.
Following exactly my line.
Yesterday's computing was largely about personal computing. In the future, it's going to be about personal AI. And that personal AI, one example of it is the self-driving car. It's a car. It's a robotic system that's essentially your personal AI. And, of course, there'll be all kinds of different types of robotic systems, including even the base station.
Jensen, we trust.
As I mentioned, it's going to be essentially a robotic system. So that's the reason why we broke it all apart this way. It's the simplest way of understanding our business. Each one of them have different stacks in a lot of ways. They have different operating systems. They operate in a different way. We go to market very differently in each one of them. The easiest go to market, of course, is the hyperscaler because there are only 5 or 6 of them. But the rest of them, the rest of the industry represents a couple of 250,000 companies around the world. That go-to-market is very complex, very diverse. Your understanding of AI has to be extremely diverse. And as you know, Nvidia has the largest suite of acceleration libraries in the world, from computational lithography to fluid dynamics to particle physics.
By increasing the Nvidia dividend from 0.01 to 0.25, Jensen increased his annual income from 8 million to 217 million.
The vertical industries
the GOAT.
That represents
the GOAT.
The second and the third category. Okay, so anyways, it's really about the fact that our business has now evolved.
This got 2 likes, by the way, chat.
To such a large scale. It's helpful to segment it so that you.
Can you guys comment under it and say that I'm gay or something?
Your next question comes from Ben Reitzes with Melius
Ben
Research.
Dover?
Your line is open.
Hey guys, thanks so much. I wanted to ask Jensen, I wanted to ask you about your philosophy on growth. Your data center business ex-China grew about.
Do you think that they're superior or inferior?
And then you're guiding about 100.
Well, actually, I don't agree with the Roach Kings.
by many, including myself, to like grow.
I did see that Hassan Abi update
this year. And you talked about data center, still on track to be 3 to 4 trillion by the end of the decade. I was just wondering, is the goal for the company to grow faster than hyperscaler?
How do you get to ask questions? I'm sure you have to have like $10 million plus in Nvidia or something. You got to probably own a fund. They're not going to let me answer a call. It did ask for my microphone, I'll say that, but there's no way.
Still growing after this.
Imagine I'm by accident talking to you guys and I get a call.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. So first of all, we should be growing faster than hyperscale CapEx. And the reason for that is illustrated by the segmentation that I just described. Our data center business has 2 large parts. It has more parts than that, but we combined it into 2 large parts for simplicity.
Show the bicep shells? Oh,
it's much more complex than the 2 large parts.
Sorry.
But I combined it into 2 so that it's at least easier to understand, okay? And so if you look at the first part is hyperscalers. That's the hyperscale CapEx that you were just talking about. And there are $1 trillion this year. I have every expectation it's going to grow from here for fundamentally good reasons. This is the way computing is going to work in the future. And if they don't have to compute, they won't have the revenues. It is very clear. Compute is revenue. Compute is profit. And so the world is changing. Software didn't used to use SaaS. It didn't used to use as much compute, but AI requires a tremendous amount of compute. But you could do, of course, incredibly more, which is the reason why we heard about the AI frontier AI companies, both Anthropic and OpenAI.
Stop saying, oh, you're making the stock go down. Be more confident. Come on, Jensen.
The fact that they can grow within 1 month. What some of the SaaS companies would have taken a decade to grow tells you something. And so the first category is hyperscale, and the CapEx is at $1 trillion, and it's growing towards the 3 to 4. The second category is all of the AI native cloud. They're regional. They're all over the place. There are startups all over the world supporting those companies. They're enterprise, 250,000. Enterprise companies around the world.
Do you think Jensen has seen my Mario
clip? Will have to build or want to build AI factories for themselves to operate. Many industrial companies, there's no choice but to put the computer where the context is, where the action is.
Elon definitely has, 100%.
It has to respond reliably, quickly, every single time. Can't imagine, a chip plant, a chip fab being connected to a cloud service provider.
We'll see who gets it in court.
Doesn't make any sense. And so the second category, and then sovereign AI clouds. And so there's a whole there's a whole category of data centers that semi-custom chips just don't apply, because these data centers want to buy systems, they want to operate systems, they don't want to design, they don't want to build it themselves. And so the second category is extremely diverse. Instead of 5 or 6, 7 companies representing the revenues associated with our first category, the second category is hundreds, thousands of companies.
No, she wants to do 2028 for the core hearing. I don't.
With a large large number of companies.
We wanted it to be 2027, early 2027, but we said, hey, look, you guys are trying to push it so back, then we'll push it back and we'll say we'll do something like August 2027.
This second category,
we wanted it January.
When I talk about physical AI and I talk about how the rest of the $100 trillion industry that has not been impacted by IT in the last 30 years, it's about to be impacted by AI.
Yes,
that is the segment
we talked about that a lot.
The second cluster is growing incredibly fast.
How a lot of companies, a lot of businesses don't use AI or technology that much are going to have to start using it, or they're going to die.
We're fairly unique in our ability to be able to serve this industry. Our platform is built like it's vertically integrated so that everything works.
We need something to boost the stock.
Then we disassemble it so that people can build.
They already announced a dividend share
from
0.01 to 0.25. That's insanity, bro.
This second category is fairly poorly understood. Because there are just so many small companies or so many companies, and each one of the installations are relatively small compared to, of course, one of the hyperscalers. And so if you look at the segmentation and the size of each, you could see that, in fact, we're growing share in the hyperscalers because we now have much bigger support from Anthropic, a new partner of ours, and we're helping them expand their capacity greatly in the coming years. And then the second, very few companies have exposure into the second category because of the platform solution that we have.
I'm sure this is what Jensen's doing.
Your next question comes from CJ Muse with Cantor Fitzgerald. Your line is open.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for taking the question. You have Vera Rubin coming soon, and you obviously have great insight into coming updates to frontier models.
He just fucking snorted a massive line there.
Around diverse AI workloads. With investors keenly focused on your market share and inference, how do you see Vera Rubin and your extreme co-engineering impacting your
I'm going to call Stephen Graham today.
As we look into late 26, 27.
Let me actually just text him right now.
We are growing share in inference, and we're growing share in inference very, very quick. And the reason for that is this year, the number of frontier model companies grew. And so there's Cursor and Perplexity, and there's some new model companies, TML and Reflection, and the list goes on. And so the number of frontier model companies has grown. And we added Anthropic to our partnership this year.
They did?
They're expanding incredibly fast. We've partnered with them to secure computing capacity across Azure, AWS, CoreWeave. I forget who else we've already announced, but there's a whole list of others that we are bringing online for them.
Literally, some of them are who's to them.
So the amount of capacity
$100 billion companies are now who's to Jensen Huang.
Anthropic this year and next year is going to be quite significant, very significant. And so we're growing, and our coverage of Anthropic has been largely zero until just recently. And so we're gaining share tremendously fast in inference.
What does Drama have to do with this call?
Be even more successful.
Ethan Klein won his lawsuit against Rogan with a default judgment.
I can't think of one. Every single frontier model company will jump on Vera Rubin from the get-go. And that wasn't true before on Blackwell. And so Vera Rubin is off to a tremendous start.
With a default? Who gives a fuck?
It'll surely be more successful than even Grace Black. So I think the end of your answer, CJ, is that we're gaining share in inference. Let me go back again to the question that Ben was asking. Remember, so far, everything that I've just explained in the inference question.
How do you bias an IPO before it becomes a share?
Remember, there's a whole second category of AI data centers that we serve.
Some brokers will have it, but you usually have to have a lot of money.
This segment is very fragmented, requires a really well integrated platform solution.
Or you work for the company.
A very large go-to-market, and that segment, all of the inference, 100% of that, the vast majority of that, is Nvidia. And then of course physical AI. Nvidia is practically the only company serving physical AI today, and we've been working on physical AI for a long time. And so that is also our share of inference is growing very quickly.
Your next question comes from Timothy Arcuri with UBS. Your line is open.
Thanks a lot. Jensen, I wanted to ask about the traction you're getting with some of these custom merchant things you're doing, stuff like CPX and LPX. And I just wanted to ask and see sort of, you've talked
Chad, do you
before
guys feel
about
very
segmentation
business oriented
being, I
today?
think, 20% of the market. So I would imagine you're getting pretty good traction with LPX. So can you just talk about that and maybe, also how that fits into your broader platform strategy? Thanks.
The LPX is designed for
my pubes
low
are fucking,
latency.
they need a nice trimming though. I'm not gonna lie to you, Chad.
High token rate, but its throughput is low.
What question do you want me to ask Jensen Huang, Chad? I should ask that. What question do you want me to ask? I'll write them down.
Capacity is low. And its context
I'm obviously going to be called,
its
right?
ability to absorb a lot of context, for example, for software coding.
Ask her boobs? Okay.
For
I'm
agentic
going to ask him,
workloads.
ask her boobs.
Its ability to absorb a great deal of context is lower. And so the challenge
I'm not going to say my name. I'm going to say Maxi Renato, my actual name, but I'm going to say, have you seen
the use case
mizkif's
for LPX is not broad.
Mario clip?
It's intended
and
for
how
somebody who
can
has
he
a
use
fairly large
AI to change
portfolio of different types of token services. And for the high token rate, maybe these services are quite premium.
Korean woman.
The number of customers is not significant, but the
with
token rate is very high.
Physics, yeah, with jiggle physics. That's
ask him the Wiener question.
That remains.
And then I'll ask him, would you snack on your own wiener if you could?
What I said before. And
if he says yes, that's good. We should buy hot dogs.
So I expect that LPX and other SRAM based decode focused token, high token rate generated focused accelerators will be a niche product for some time to come. As you know,
you already asked that question.
Rubin, we support the entire life cycle of AI from
look, it's hitting the line. It's going to go green.
Preparing for training, data processing to pre-training, to post-training, reinforcement learning, all the way to inference. Grace Blackwell is the best platform in the world to do all of that. And if in certain circumstances, so long as the customer, the provider already has a high token rate service that they can offer, then we can tack on an LPX and they could deliver that service even better. And so that's how I see the market. And I think whether it's 20% or 10% just depends on where we are in the development of AI. I think today it's a lot less than 20%. Someday these premium tokens could be 20%, and we're ready to.
No, my line's been pretty accurate all day. Look,
with service providers,
it's still hitting the line. It should go up to 220. Yeah, just about there.
Your next question comes from Vivek Arya with Bank of America Securities.
It's been a minute.
Your line is open.
Thanks for taking my question. Jensen, there's a lot of excitement around CPU for agentic applications and just a lot of noise around the number of CPUs actually exceeding the number of GPUs. And I was just hoping that you could kind of, give your perspective that, first of all, is this an incremental workload? Is this kind of cannibalizing?
Chad, what happens if the person before them asked the question that they were going to ask?
And then secondly, the 20 billion number that you gave, is that for standalone Vera CPUs or is that kind of already included in that Vera as part of Vera Rubin? So just if you could educate us on, the role of CPU versus GPU. Is it cannibalistic? Is it incremental? And then the 20 billion number, how to kind of put that in context with what you sell, right? Which is usually the CPU as part of the GPU.
The 20 billion is for a standalone CPU, and remember we have Vera is used in 3 ways as a standalone C, 4 ways. Let me just start with the one that you already know. The first way is Vera Rubin. And we'll sell millions of Rubins, and every 2 of them is connected to a Vera. And of course, we price those too.
I have $100,000 in this. I don't. What the fuck's
and
a
they're properly
Rubin?
priced.
And what the fuck's a Vera?
So that's number 1 use case. The second use case is Vera standalone CPU. The third is Vera with CX9 and
oh god damn it! Did you hear what you just
the
said?
Software stack for storage, and then Vera in with CX9.
Stop!
With a
Stop
software
it!
Stack for,
Stop, Jensen! You're farming.
Security.
You're really farming right now, bro. It's called that boring.
Isolation and confidential compute. Okay, so each one of those use cases is built
all
on
GPUs
Vera.
lead to it.
And my sense is that we'll be
Jensen, I have a question. Can you do the ARM thing
throughout
sorry, what
the
ARM
entire
thing
life of Vera?
Are you talking about?
There are 4 different use cases of it, and
yes. If you didn't just understand when he said it, there is going to be 9 RV trips in total, Chad. AI computed 9 RV trips. That's big.
CPU use, an agent is essentially what people call a harness. The agent has
what arm thing, Mr. Shareholder?
Has a harness that does and the harness could be OpenClaw, it could be Hermes. Claude Code is essentially a harness around Claude.
Robinhood, Andy.
Around the Opus model.
There's no way you just asked me that. Holy shit.
OpenAI's Codex is a harness around the GPT 5.5 model. And so these are harnesses, and these harnesses provide for things like I/O, orchestration, memory management. Tool use connected to tools, for example, browsers and things like that, C compilers, Python compilers. And so the harness runs on CPU.
Let's see what AMD's doing with this news.
And the tool use runs on CPUs. So for example, if the AI were to do a search or do a browser,
it's just
browser, that would run on the CPU. The world has a billion users, human users. My sense is that the world is going to have billions of agents. Not today. I mean, we're going to grow into it, but it will have billions of agents, and those billions of agents will all use tools. And those tools are going to be like PCs, just like us humans using PCs today.
Human-like agents.
You'll have an agent using PC. And so if you kind of think along the lines of
in the future, that's good investment.
You pick your favorite number of agents at the moment. At the moment, call it a few 100,000, but in the future, call it eventually a few billion. I could imagine them all using the effective.
So I would short Asian girls PCs on Twitch. I would short that, Jack. So we might have a huge volume increase.
The large language, every one of those agents are going to spin off sub agents, and every time they spin these off, you're going to need to do inference. That's where the thinking happens. All of the thinking happens on GPUs. All of the orchestration essentially runs on CPUs.
Hey, Bell, can you do me a favor while you're eating that cookie? Can you do me a favor? And can you
the sub-agents,
one of
when
my
they're
meals?
spun
I
off,
can't really leave. I'm on the phone with the CEO of
when
Nvidia.
they're thinking, they use GPUs. Whenever the agents use simulators, those can run on CPUs or GPUs.
Look, you saw me on the phone yesterday with the CEO of Kick. Do you really think I don't know the CEO of Nvidia? Come on.
To accelerate all of the world's tools. We're accelerating all of the world's tools and data processing engines and database engines because
meeting with the CEO of GameStop in a week.
Use these tools.
He's got a good offer for me.
They have lower patience tolerance than humans, and they want things to happen quickly. And so we're accelerating all of the world's tools so that it runs on CUDA. And you could see us doing that. When I work with Cadence and Synopsys and Siemens and companies and Adobe. And that's because we're trying to get all of the world's tools to run on GPUs because they already have GPUs and it's a lot faster. So we're going to need a lot more CPUs. And Vera was designed to be an agentic CPU. The CPUs of the past were designed to have many cores so that it could be easily rentable. People rented cores. Well, agents don't rent cores. They just want the work to be done fast. The economics of the past was dollars per core. That's the economics of cloud computing of the past. The economics of AI of the future is tokens per dollar or dollars per token.
Wrap it up, Jensen.
So what we need to do in the future is to generate tokens, process tokens as fast as possible. And that's what Vera does incredibly well.
I guarantee you there's a viewer right now that's like,
so we're expecting to be very successful.
Tokens equals
Vera,
crypto. I should buy crypto.
Ultimately,
that's not what he means.
What we're doing is we're building infrastructure for AI, and it needs incredibly great storage. That's the reason why we built STX. It needs incredibly good networking. That's why we have Spectrum X. It needs incredibly great GPUs, of course, and inferencing ability. That's the reason why NVLink 72. It needs incredibly great security and confidential computing, which is the reason why Vera Rubin's the world's first platform with end-to-end confidential computing. And it needs, great CPUs. We've got it all covered.
Your next question comes from Stacy Raskin with Bernstein Research. Your line is open.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my question. I wanted to go back to the segmentation. So first of all, I'm just curious, where do you put the neo cloud across those two segments? Are they in hyperscale or are they in the AI cloud? Part of me assumes the latter, but I'm not so sure.
What a fucking dumb question,
dude. But just look at the magnitude of them. I mean, they're both about the same
Wait, yeah, Stacy?
It almost sounded to me like you were suggesting that you thought the latter, the AI cloud, would grow faster maybe going forward than hyperscale. Is that what you're trying to say, or do you see like the same kind of growth coming from both segments?
She just is one that's out on the line.
You're correct that AI native clouds don't build chips, don't design their own chips, and they don't want to. They can't really assemble.
Yeah, it is crazy to think that we built AI. We are like basically having a revolution that's going to change the world.
They're patient.
You can make games in 3 minutes, but that phone still sounds that bad. And in 2026,
their need for
it still has that muffled sound
an architecture
of like
that has a great deal of offtake. so that it runs every model, has customers
Thank
from
you so
everywhere,
much, dude.
is incredibly high.
Can I get some hot sauce as well?
And so that's the reason why NVIDIA's architecture is so perfect for them. We offer every component, and whatever we don't offer, our ecosystem of partners offer it, and it's all fully integrated. It all works together.
On, please?
The number of customers that could rent it from an AI native is incredibly high. Basically, every single AI builder, every AI native startup around the world, SaaS companies, enterprise companies, industrial companies.
You should.
So our computing, our architecture is the most rentable of any computing platform in the world. So it's the most performant.
Do you really think I'm not going to mix
the
up
easiest
the
to
rice
put
and
together.
The meat?
It's
Can you
the
please mix
most
it up for me?
rentable.
What do you mean?
It's the best
Well,
TCO.
Yes, I'm
And it's the easiest to find.
Yeah.
And so all of those properties are quite unique to the needs of AI natives. It's in the second category. They're very similar to even OEMs and so on and so forth, large enterprises and so forth, surprising. Okay, so we put that in the second category. If you look at that segment,
back and forth, just do it.
It started growing
like
after the AI ecosystem developed in the hyperscale. Hyperscale developed AI first for a lot of reasons. They have great computer science. They have excellent data center capability, and they also focus largely on consumer applications, which, if not perfect, is not the end of the world. It enhances the service so long as it enhances the service.
You can't hire good help nowadays. She's gone in like 3 months to AI chat. I'm telling you, I'm already building her out.
Enterprise applications, until the AI is very capable and does really productive work and does it safely, and it could do it in a way that can actually generate impact and income, it doesn't really get used. And so you expect the second category to develop slower than hyperscale. And you could see that in the numbers. However, long term, if you look at industrial and enterprise, clearly that's where future economics is going to be, because it represents
how much hot sauce did you fucking use?
$50-80 trillion of the world's economy, and so and it's going to be larger than that because of AI. And so I expect the second category to be larger over time.
Because I don't use hot sauce.
Both.
Wait,
in the
does she
near
have
term
her food
and
handling
next several years. I
certification?
think it's a sure.
Please do not be
Can you feed me, please?
Foregone conclusion. Both are going to grow incredibly fast. I expect the second category to still grow faster, but both are going to grow incredibly fast. And then I'm hoping that within the next 5 years, physical AI and robotics segment is going to grow incredibly fast.
Your next question comes from Jim Schneider with Goldman Sachs. Your line is open.
Not Jim, dude. Jim chat? What the fuck does he know?
Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my question. Back at GTC, I believe you discussed a $1 trillion visibility into both your Rubin and Blackwell platform revenue, but I believe that excluded things like LPX, Rubin CPX, and the Vera CPU racks.
Yeah, we know it.
Could you maybe give us a sense about whether the Vera CPUs are going to be the biggest source of upside above and beyond that $1 trillion? Are you contemplating other sort of combinations of products, including CPUs, that would allow you to gain an even greater share of that total TAM? Thank you.
In terms of incremental above the trillion, I would say one,
like this,
the continued growing of share of the frontier AI models.
No.
I'm expecting to grow more share.
Come on, it's my $26
so
meal.
I'm expecting that to grow.
$26?
Number two, we didn't include any Vera CPU, standalone CPU in that.
That's
number.
enough. Stop.
And so I expect that to be.
Are you trying to kill me before my meeting with Jensen Huang?
The TAM is of course quite large in agentic systems.
And some raw.
And all of our customers are quite excited about Vera, and we're going to sell a whole
Get out of my face.
And then third would be LPX, because as I explained earlier, LPX is designed because of its SRAM architecture, it has the benefit of very low latency, very high interactivity, but it's also its throughput and its context processing ability.
You need to hire better help,
quite
dude.
limited.
I know.
And that's just kind of the nature of SRAM type based systems. But the combination, we'll be able to address the entire spectrum of AI from pre-training to post-training to inference to agentic systems through the combination of Vera Rubin and
Belle, can you do me a favor? There's some cash under the couch. Can you go get a BBL?
Your next question comes from Joshua Buckhalter with TD Cowen.
Yeah, go get
Your
a BBL.
line is open.
Yeah, you're not.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my question and congrats on the great result.
Colette, I believe in your prepared remarks you mentioned GB300 is
Wait, Chad, who is this guy? Which guy is this?
History. How should we think about Vera Rubin against this benchmark? It's obviously a new architecture at the silicon level, but it's similar rack. Does that mean we should expect a similar slope to the Vera Rubin ramp as the GB300, or should it be a bit more gradual given the new silicon? Thank you.
Yeah, well, we have indicated for a while that we will be launching Vera Rubin in the second half. We will start in Q3. That will be our initial pieces together. And then once we get to Q4, we're probably going to start to see our ramping continue. It's hard to say at this point what will be a faster ramp. But again, we have demand already planned. We've got POs. We've got almost all of our major customers ready to go. And these are very complex systems that we need to put together. So I think it's just about the timing that it's going to take for us to get that into market. Nothing else other than getting from production of all of the different systems that we have ready for order. So a little early to say.
Whoa, hey, what's going on?
Yes, we're going to start in Q3 and continue to ramp into Q4.
Oh my God, the girl started talking.
And Q1 of next year
Jensen
certainly is going to be
following my graph perfectly. Fuck.
There are no further questions at this time. Toshiya Hari, I turn the call back over to you.
Thank you. Before I hand it over to Jensen, please note Jensen will be giving a keynote at GTC Taipei at Computex on June 1st. We will also be participating at the TD Cowen TMT conference on May 28th.
He's in the AT&T Annihilator Cup? What?
On June 4th.
Sell.
Our earnings call to discuss the results of our second quarter of fiscal 2027 is scheduled for August 26th. With that, here's Jensen to close us out.
This was an extraordinary quarter. Demand has gone parabolic.
No, Jensen, more.
The reason is simple. Agentic AI has arrived. AI can now do productive and valuable work. Tokens are now profitable, so model makers are in a race to produce more. In the AI era, compute capacity is revenue and profits.
Come on, Jensen.
NVIDIA is the platform of this era. Of all the platforms in the world, NVIDIA Compute supports the richest diversity of demand. Let me highlight my top 5 things. First, NVIDIA is the only platform that runs every frontier AI model. With the addition of Anthropic to our existing partners, OpenAI, xAI, Meta MSL, Gemini, and many others, our share of frontier AI is growing. Second, we are in every hyperscale cloud, supporting their core data processing and machine learning workloads, internal AI services, as well as supporting their demand for NVIDIA users in their public cloud services. Third, our full stack complete AI.
Why does he sound angry, bro?
Vast global ecosystem let us uniquely address new AI. Did
someone scruff his hair this morning? Why does Jensen sound so pissed?
New AI cloud natives, new AI native clouds, and sovereign AI clouds, and on-premises enterprise and industrial infrastructure. This is that second category I was talking about earlier. Fourth, NVIDIA CUDA extends all the way to the end. Robotics, autonomous vehicles, embedded medical instruments, AI,
Cat, do you guys even think this guy's
base
smart?
Stations. The next wave is physical AI with billions of autonomous and robotic systems operating in the physical world. This is the third segment we were talking about earlier. And rounding out the top 5 things, we have a major new growth driver, Vera, the world's first CPU purpose-built for agentic AI. Vera opens a brand new $200 billion TAM for NVIDIA, a market we have never addressed before. And every major hyperscaler and system maker is partnering with us to deploy it. The world is rebuilding computing for agentic AI and robotic physical AI. NVIDIA sits at the center of these transitions. We built NVIDIA Compute Platform over 3 decades. One architecture, vast ecosystem, extreme co-design across chips, systems, networking, and software. We built it ahead of this moment so that when agentic AI arrived, NVIDIA would be ready. It has arrived. Look forward to catching up next time.
That's not it.
This concludes today's conference call. You may now disconnect.
I'm not hanging up. There's got to be some extra credits, right, chat? There's got to be some extra scene. Let's go over my notes. All right, so let's talk about what's gone on, chat. That was the CEO of NVIDIA live talking about everything that happened, okay? So what happened today? Well, here's what a very simple thing, by the way, chat. Not a lot of traders do this.
Jensen will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Not a lot of traders do this. So what you do is you take this. This is a piano C flat pattern. You take this pattern and you put it into your AI module. Ready? So I'll ask Claudia. And we can see what the market is really saying, because you can't really hear, you can only see. So there's a new way of trading, chat, that's very famous, where you can hear what the market's saying. Let's go ahead and take a look and hear what they're saying right now about NVIDIA. Calm down. Relax. Folks, relax. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, it's like the Black Friday, basically, right? You can get everything on sale. All right, calm down. Okay, so what did that just tell us? What did anything just tell us, right? Well, you're down $7,000 since I started speaking, all right? You are down $7,000 since I started speaking. Let's go ahead and go. This is now the market reacting to what Jensen Huang just said, all right? So this is a 1 second ticker, by the way. So you're currently looking at what they're thinking on every second. So that way you guys can be as knowledgeable as possible, because people use the 5 minute, the 30 minute, the hour. No, we have ADHD. We want to know what's going on every single second, and we can pay attention to that while at the same time watching 3 streamers and watching that guy who does fucking videos in the middle of nowhere. All right, let's see what's going on. So $220 is currently where it's at right now, chat. Let's just go to the 5 minutes because it's hurting my head. So what is happening? Well, it's not looking too good. So your stock today was Nvidia. Is exactly right. Dripmeister, your farmer, or you guys, put in $100,000 in NVDL. Then we doubled down and put another 20 grand. You guys literally have $200 cash. Not only that, your Nvidia call of $30,000 is now negative. Somehow on the day, you are down on Nvidia calls. So what does that mean? Is this something of panic? Should you be afraid of what's going on? Should you be terrified? Is something really going to happen here? You will not know until, because this doesn't really tell you the tale. I know you guys are freaking out right now, and what you're doing is exactly why people fail. You're playing with emotion. Stop thinking emotionally and start thinking in a normal way. You're emotionally thinking, this has gone down. This is what everyone's thinking. Panic mode. The stock's now going to drop all the way down to $202, and we're all fucked. AI's fucked. This was all a bad idea. I'm going to my Burger King. I'm going to go cry. Relax. This is after hours trading. This doesn't really mean anything at all. It really doesn't. There's a lot that goes into these charts, chat, a lot more different things that you understand. So why was that call important, and what did that show? Okay, so what that call basically said is, hey, we beat earnings. Good. We have really good prospects in the future with basically every single company you can possibly think of in the world. Great. We also have Angenic AI. So if you guys don't know what that is, it is the Australian dude.
I just lost my neighbor's house.
It is
thanks to Dripmeister. It
is the Australian dude that went viral and is with clavicular. They are now going to somehow fix his hair with AI. That seems impossible. I'll believe it when I see it. But what Angenic AI is, chat, is going to be the next phase of AI. And what they're going to say is, hey, look, we are introducing Vera, which is our version of it. And that's the thumbnail. That's the thumbnail right there. And what that means is Angenic AI is the future, and we are powering all of it. And we are the #1 reason for all this. We are the kings. They're still the kings, and they beat earnings. So everyone should be fucking cheering for joy, right? Everyone should be happy. Which one? Here's the problem. Sure, they beat earnings. That usually means the stock should go up, right? Sure, they're announcing, they're basically working with every single company. They literally basically said everybody. And they say, yeah, we know that the world is going to turn completely differently in the next few years because of what we're doing. And if companies don't follow suit, they're going to crumble and die and basically fall to the pit of a TJ Maxx. Why is the stock falling after hours despite that? Because a lot of fears and going on, chat, a lot of validity. And the thing is, your stock is worth $5 trillion. And over the last 5 years, it was at $10, okay? So the thing is, with this, look at this skyrocket it's had just recently. People are saying it's been priced in. Now, what does priced in mean? That means that it's already in there. Like, yeah, okay, great, you beat earnings. We kind of expected that, and the price was already at that level, because last month it was at 179. Now we're at 228. It's priced in. It didn't really, the earnings did not surprise us at all. Yes, if it was like 20% plus on earnings, you would see this thing get skyrocketing. Yes, do people think Nvidia is going to go up in the future? Absolutely. No one's denying that Nvidia is going to go up in the future. Everyone believes that Nvidia is going to go up in the future. But when? And will it have a dip? Will it go up now? Will it have a cycle where it goes down? That's what you don't know. And you guys were betting on that this bull run will continue and we are going to go up and hit the marks of like 250 and then you guys can sell. But right now, this stock is at $220 flat. But here's the thing. Here's what's the good news. The #1 news that you heard, and I think a lot of you do not understand what it said, was that there is a, I'm going to write this down so you guys can understand what this said, 0.25 dividend. Why is it spelling like that? This saved that call. That saved that call. The 0.25 dividend. Save that call. Because what that shows is that now and also the buyback of shares. What that shows is, yo, every quarter you get paid to own our stock. Chat, it was this before. You get $25,000 a quarter. Yes, you get 25% of any money you put into it every single quarter for the rest of your life. You see how easy investing is? It's why when he said you $26 meal, yeah, dude, that could be $32 a quarter.
Those dividends?
You don't get those dividends, you stupid fuck. In fact, at this point, none of us might. So here's the problem, chat. 0.25 is great. The dividend was 0.01. That's awesome. You get more money. It's basically saying, hey, long-term invest in us, believe in us, and you're going to get paid. And you're also, it's a growth stock, so that's really good. Growth stocks usually don't give dividends that are this good. Well, they're giving a dividend, so it's a very good buy. The problem is the news on the call wasn't that surprising and it wasn't that interesting. Yeah, they're working with everybody. Yeah, everyone loves them. So what? Right? It's like, think of Kai Cenat, right? That dude hasn't streamed in a year and somehow he's #2 streamer right now, right? That's Nvidia. They're like, yeah, dude, we know you're the shit. Oh, wow, dude, you collaborated with the best streamers and the biggest people and you're in movies. We believe that. We knew that would happen. It's not that interesting, right? So because it's already priced into who they are, that call, despite literally basically saying, yeah, so we kind of like run the world and we're dominant and we control every company and everyone relies on us, was it that surprising enough to make it move another $1 trillion? Because remember, chat, it's a $5 trillion market value. It's $5 trillion. Is it enough to make it move? And that's the question that people wonder, right? Is it overrated? Because there's a lot of other companies that are looking pretty right now, right? It's not like Nvidia doesn't have any competitors. AMD is one of them. Your stock, AMD, is one of them. And you can see, remember what we talked about, chat, that this Nvidia call is going to literally be the #1 reason for AI in general, and you're all invested in AI. So if the market doesn't like what Nvidia had to say, everything's gonna crash. And this can go down $50,000, $60,000 in the next couple days, okay? And from what you can tell, did the market like it or did they hate it, right? Now, I know a lot of you are gonna say, they obviously hated it, Miz. It's pretty obvious. No, it's not, because it's been 10 minutes. You don't know. And their chart hasn't really changed that much. Yes, it's at 220, 219, but who really gives a fuck? It's after hours, chat. It's not really a big deal. We don't know what's gonna happen.